So joined by Ahmed Soliman, Managing Director of the TCA Group of Companies. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
So we're going to be talking a bit about tourism, but I wanted to start with aeronautical engineering.
Oh, wow.
I mean, what's going on with that?
Yeah, famous pastime. So went into university and studied aeronautical engineering. Honestly speaking, it was kind of like the either brain surgeon or aeronautical engineer, and I chose rocket scientist for that career path.
So you wanted to be a pilot?
I wanted to be a pilot, yeah.
Okay.
That was the plan. So
Yeah.
I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to be a pilot. My father was in hospitality, so I was at a very young age spoiled with the luxuries of five-star hotels. So that dream of glamour always kind of followed me around. And then I thought, how was I going to get there? Let's become a pilot. And the aeronautical side of things was kind of a mediation to appease our parents and become the engineer, and also simultaneously a pilot and pursue my dreams. So yeah, it was a period of time. I took a master's in international business management and marketing to drive my business side of my brain, and which went very well. And then since I was taken on by Hyatt as part of the corporate training program and developed my career and so on and so forth in Dubai, actually.
In Dubai?
Yeah, my first position in hotels was in Dubai as a corporate training. First time pretty much for a corporate training to be part of a pre-opening. Which
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a really kind of interesting move for Hyatt to make, especially someone that wasn't coming out of Lyon or Lausanne to give me that accolade. Yeah. But I truly enjoyed it because it was somewhere where at the time was this new gem of the world, where there was a lot of speculation in terms of how long it will continue to glimmer and to glow.
Yeah.
And it has done just that and continue to do so. I think Dubai sets precedents when it comes to tourism on so many levels. And it also has been the catalyst for the rest of the region to actually kind of step up and start driving tourism.
So just like tracking back a bit, so Hyatt, you get onto the program, onto the pre-opening. So was it like a decision? Did you think, okay, I'm not going to be a pilot, that's kind of clear to me now, I still want to work in travel? Did you pursue that, or was it just like...
Yeah, it was kind of, honestly, like I said, it came from my father. My father was from an owner side. So he worked from the owner side. He worked with Hyatt and ran a lot of their hotels, but not directly with the organization. Again, like I mentioned, from the ownership. So there was always that kind of notion that hotels would be something I could go back to. And it was the thrill of working with people and working in an industry that I enjoyed. And it came quite easily to me, to be totally honest. So whilst being in Dubai and whilst taking that transient movement, and let's be fair, the airline industry at the time was still speculative. We didn't know where it would go. We were still in a dilemma between, do we want to travel somewhere faster? Or do I want to travel somewhere faster, more expensive? In the era of the Concorde, and
indeed,
or do we want to make travel more cost effective and volume based? And it was the battle between the Boeing Dreamliner, I think it was at the time, and the A380 when it hadn't been launched.
And the Dreamliner one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we didn't know that then. And I guess this was like slightly, so when you started...
the A380 one at the time.
It did, but now it's not
now,
doing so well.
Now we're going, now we're going the other way around.
Yeah, I think it's just like more routes, but like, less capacity, isn't it? So like connecting routes that otherwise wouldn't be. I saw like Emirates are launching. We're getting a bit into probably what we'll discuss later, but like Colombia, Emirates are launching in Lima and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty interesting, direct routes from the region. So TCA Group of Companies, you're managing director, headquartered in Dubai.
Correct.
So could you tell me a little bit more about like the businesses that you run?
Yeah, so TCA was born off the back of my hospitality background. So after Hyatt in Dubai, and then diversing a bit and moving back to the UK outside of hospitality. Actually, I departed from Hyatt and went into more United Nations Development Program work.
Okay.
Where I was still head of sales. It was still a sales role, but more looking at a variety of different products that were being distributed around the world to aid in healthcare and the benefit of direct populations.
Okay.
And then I got the call back from Hyatt. Hyatt at the time, the reason I did move is because Hyatt at the time didn't have a property in the UK, and I decided that maybe a diversification was a good option. But then I got a call again from Hyatt saying, okay, we're taking over the Intercontinental Churchill, and we need you back. So I still missed it. I'll be honest. We get to do a lot of roles in our lives, but I think one thing that hospitality does bring you is the engagement and the interaction with people.
Yeah,
and I think in this day and age, I think it's undersold. Okay, being able to go to work, meet people, engage, interact, listen to opinions, because it really does. Ideas breed ideas, and it allows you to really kind of develop your own opinions and your own kind of really structure your thoughts amongst a community. And I think the community feel is inherently important amongst our children and amongst people trying to kind of gauge their own decisions without being or seeing the bias of one way.
Yeah, I mean, like social media just like filters people into an echo chamber, right? And
Exactly.
It's just the same content. And I look at things like Apple Glass. Is it Apple Glass? It's not. It's called something else.
The Vision, isn't it?
Something like that. Basically, when you look like you're going skiing.
Basically, all the time.
Primitive technology, but in that space. But I mean, you look at that and it gives me hope for the future of our industry. Because like on one side, you've got the shaming of our industry, like when you look at like sustainability and the impact it's having on the world. And I think that's something which, you know, we're shining a spotlight on that. There are steps to address it. We need to do more. But then like also think what we're saving as a result of our industry. And it's like, as people are sort of operating in silos, in echo chambers, removing themselves from society with the aid of like AI and these kind of immersive experiences, I think it gives a lot of credit to what we're trying to do.
Totally, and I think bringing back to that point, I think currently the disconnection allows people to be blinded and not see. Okay, and I think without going into it in too much detail, the world needs to open its eyes. Okay, and I think hospitality and travel and seeing how people engage and being engaging in the destinations that you go. And going out of the ecosystem of the hotel and that safety bubble of a perfectly pristine beach and a perfectly pristine pool. And I truly believe that the luxury hospitality industry has actually opened its eyes and is bringing experiences into the hotel.
Yeah.
And this is why connections, just to lead back, I know it sounds like I'm just bringing it back, but it really does truly matter that our industry see that we are no longer perceived, or we shouldn't be perceived in the luxury segment as 4 walls, a bed, a check-in and a nice breakfast.
Agreed.
Okay, we really need to see the hotels engage with its local community, engage with its society, and also let's not undermine the actual benefit that tourism does to a GDP of a country. And Dubai is a prime example of that, and what Dubai has done and what Saudi is doing now. You know, their vision is to bring Saudiization into the workplace, into the hospitality segment, to increase jobs, to increase understanding. And also, one major factor is to make its own people proud to be Saudi or proud to be Emirati. And I think in this region specifically, and I think worldwide, internationally, I think it should follow suit. And we cannot undermine what we do in this industry to how that comes to a head.
To fruition, yeah.
To fruition, yes.
I mean, like, I remember this story. It was back to your pilot aspirations. It was like this pilot friend of my parents, actually. He said to me, he used to, I'm not going to name the hotel chain, but big hotel chain, international. When his alarm clock went off, he'd have to call the front desk and check what country he was in. Because the sense of place in this hotel, it just didn't exist. You're in the same 4 walls, same design, wherever you were. And it's not enough anymore. And I think like the demand sort of dictates that the hotels have to change. It's not about square meterage. It's about, you know, what experiences. What can I talk about at the dinner table, which is different to what everyone else has to say.
100%.
Anyway.
And it doesn't need to be a choice. It shouldn't be a choice.
Yeah.
You shouldn't leave it to the guest to choose whether to engage or not. And this is one thing that I feel that some luxury hotels actually miss. It really should be every single touch point. Yeah. And that's their reward back to the destination. That's their gift, in essence. It's giving back to where they're being present and where they're being housed in terms of their markets.
Gotcha. So, right, aspiring pilot, got picked up in the hotel industry, relocated to Dubai, became managing director. I'm fast tracking.
Yep.
TCA Group of Companies. I want to know a bit more about what TCA do.
So as TCA, again, just from my background, I was in the regional office and I was representing multiple hotels, but for one chain. But what I realized is that in that role, I was literally selling a brand, versus taking into consideration the unique USPs of every individual product that came under me, okay? And hedging my relationships just to sell the brand, okay? So in essence, I was being contacted by multiple properties around the world, part of the same brand, asking me to handhold them through this region. As part of my commitment to the brand, I would take these hotels out into the region and on my own sales calls. So they would just join me.
Okay.
And unbeknown by the brand itself, but educate them and just give them an introduction to the market.
Yep.
So they didn't go in blind. And it obviously led to some serious business being materialization.
And you thought, hold on.
I thought, hold on. So what I have here is a business opportunity. Okay. Instead of me being paid a salary, I have an opportunity to be paid a salary by everybody. So it was kind of how do we put it? Hey, what's up moment kind of thing.
Light bulb. But you're a young man now. You must have been a very young man then. Starting a business is quite scary. How did you go for some support? How did you kick it off?
No, it actually gets even worse. I decided to leave my job, start a business, right at the financial crisis, and relocate to Dubai.
Right.
Yeah, so if you're going to do it, I just needed multiple excuses if it failed. Yeah, so that's
true. Yeah.
Because obviously I don't really do well with failure, so I tried to kind of give myself an opportunity that if I failed, I can blame someone else. Yeah. So it went really well. Once after the financial crisis actually assisted in some degree, in the sense that when I relocated to Dubai, office prices were down. Obviously, Dubai was in a situation where it was still looking to attract investors. And there was some great talent in the market as well that unfortunately had been let go, but I had the opportunity to pick up some people. And we started off with 7 hotels, international chains, basically through personal relationship. People just went, okay, fine, Ahmed's available. We've seen what he can do. He has these relationships. Let's go out and invest. And that's what happened. First year we took off, just 2009. We did our first major kind of redirection. Well, not so much a redirection, pivot with TCA PR, which was dedicated hospitality and tourism PR agency.
Great.
Which launched in 2015.
So that's B2B and B2C communications in the GCC?
In the GCC.
Okay.
Primarily with heavy on Arabic content. Yeah.
Okay.
And we write our content, so there's no translation element. And I think that was again one of those light bulb moments where I noticed that many of the international PR agencies that were based in the UAE and across the Gulf were primarily English, with a translation on. Okay. Now, being a native Arabic speaker, I quickly realized that doesn't work.
It's not customized content.
It's not customized content. Plus, the language in Arabic is very phonetic and it's also very poetic.
I see.
In the way that we describe things, there are a lot more adjectives used in terms of raising that persona and that emotional attachment to a product.
Gotcha.
English doesn't have that, but English is formulated in different ways.
Yeah.
So with that, we really focused on creative Arabic content, okay? And then we reverse translated it into English, which allowed the other way around. But I have Kate Mullen, who's my director of PR and has been for the last 7 years, okay? She launched BA in the region. She is literally a mentor to so many, and she's fantastic. We have 3 other PR account managers, Arabic speakers. We have 7 Arabic speakers in the organization. So we ensure that we are covering all bases. And then in 2019, we launched a digital agency focusing on data marketing. So looking at real kind of targeting and retargeting in terms of what kind of ad sets that we're going out into market. We make sure that when we source an audience, We are utilizing that audience. We're looking at the breakdown of the data about that audience. We look at how long they engage with our product and how long they engage with our ads. Then we put them back into the funnel and retarget them. So it's really data. That was really kind of me and my nerd hat, because obviously my engineering...
Sounds pretty nerdy.
It's very nerdy. Yeah. So I don't advertise it very much. It's not good for my street cred. No. So yeah, it is very nerdy.
Yeah.
Really looking at Meta and Facebook and Instagram, and
so it's just like A/B testing constantly until you get like the desirable click-through rates on the content.
Well, click-through is one thing, but also we look at viewing times. So basically, even when you have a piece of footage and someone's viewing it for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you re-engage until they break a certain level of threshold, depending on the content that you want, which has reached a acceptable level of understanding to move to the next stage of the funnel.
Yeah.
And then you would retarget with a different advertisement or a different kind of engagement, let's say. So this is all done in-house. We have our own graphic artists. We have offices now in Riyadh, Cairo, and UAE.
So I'm a hotel in London. What platform works best? What gets there? I know I can imagine there's a cocktail of platforms which work together, but what would you say like I should be targeting?
Again, so in London, the destination already has the interest. Okay, so for me, it's more about retargeting current volume of traffic into your hotel. So we would look at the type of hotel you are, whether you're a luxury boutique or long stay product, be a service department, where you're located in London. Are you a location that is currently visited, frequented by the GCC, or are you an off the beaten track hotel? What are your USPs? How do you target this market? What have you done in this market previously? And then based on that, so I completely abstain from applying a cookie cutter model.
Yeah.
Okay. We look at the product individually, and that's why it takes us back to 2008 when I sat down. I said, no, I want to look at products individually. Every product has its merit.
Yep.
Okay. The only thing that we keep unanimous across the board is our 5-star category. Yeah. So we only work in the luxury segment because we never wanted to dilute our message. Yeah. We want to say, not all 5 stars are the same. However, this is the minimum playing field that we will play on. So we would look at that product and we'd say, okay, fine, you're in a great location, you've got a high volume of traffic into the area, your comp set is XYZ. We'll do a quick study and looking at what price point they're at, and then we would take a decision. Do we need to B2C, go and increase the consumer vision? Yeah. But that is really dependent on whether they're visible within the trade market segmentation. So if they've got zero visibility in the trade and a consumer walks in and says, I would like to book hotel XYZ, and the agent says, I have no idea which hotel you're talking about, it doesn't bode well for conversion. Gotcha.
So you've launched the representation business after seeing an opportunity. You've launched the PR business and then the digital marketing. You don't like failure, but you've got to have launched something over that period which just hasn't worked, and you've been like, why did I try that? It didn't work out. What's not worked out for you?
Look, honestly, the digital segment took a lot of time. I launched it in 2019, obviously pre-COVID, luckily pre-COVID. So I did have that push during COVID where everything moved to digital. And the digital also looks into the F&B industry and also driving footfall to restaurants. So from that perspective, yes, it was good. Okay, so I can't call it a failure. However, finding talent across the board, I think has been always our challenge. Okay, and I'm a firm believer, and it was something my father said to me, you don't wait for opportunity. If there is an opportunity to hire talent, you take it, and then you worry about it later in terms of fulfilling that gap or fulfilling that gap in revenue, let's say, okay? Talent doesn't come across every day. So opportunities will. You won't know where you would see the next opportunity, but someone that's available in the market that meets the correct persona and carries the correct mentality versus skill set. Yeah. So one thing that you'll notice about TCA, and honestly speaking, if I say is one of 2 claims to fame, would be 1, the longevity of my employees.
So the attrition's low at TCA.
Yes.
Like people stay with you.
They stay with us. So our average length of term so far in the company is 5.6 years. Okay.
Strong.
Shahanaz has been with me for 11 years. okay, over 7. And the only reason it's low is because we've hired. So we have younger blood, and we're growing exponentially. And then the second thing is obviously the attrition of our clients in terms of how long our clients have been with us, and the consistency of our client base and the renewals that we're getting, and then we're building our base and building. And this is why we're here, in essence, through clients and relationships that we've established, and the fact that it's a consistency of relationship, and it's a consistency of service, and it's a consistency of product.
I couldn't agree more, and I think consistency is underrated. It's not necessarily about the sort of big wins. It's about maintaining and sustainably growing a business. And I see that in many businesses, both with employees and with clients, is like the focus is always on the new opportunity, not on the retention. And actually, if you fix the retention, everything else just flows.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you in an ideal world, you want to keep the suppliers with you as long as possible,
100%.
and bring new opportunities to them.
As and when they work for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing to be in a situation where you can handpick your clients. Okay. Where we say, yes, I would like to work with this property. No, I would not like to work with this property.
Yeah.
And we find ourselves in that situation.
Yeah.
And that's across the board. Obviously, we look at each division independently as its own vertical. So sales sits independent of PR, independent of digital. They all have their own cost centers. They all have their own targets, which is great because they can also support each other when necessary. But yeah, because we want to celebrate successes, be them large or small. So ensuring that our current client base is happy, content, and also driving for the next level. It's amazing to see a group grow. And when they grow with us, it's even more amazing. So we looked at, just a prime example, Evoque Collection in Paris. It was 3 stunning hotels and a Michelin star restaurant. Now, last year, we assisted and supported their opening in Venice. This year, they're opening in Madrid. Then there will be Rome. And we're watching a group grow. And it is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal feeling, because watching them grow and their new products, and then having a client base established in the region that wants to try their newest products. And we're going up against the big names, and we're happy to do so. So I think service, consistency, client retention, and development at a steady pace with hiring right, I think is a great mix for this market.
So you work with a range of tourism businesses. You've got destinations, you've got cruise, hoteliers. Do you work with DMCs or not really?
Not really, again, but it's about finding if it's the right partner and the right mentality and the right hunger and ambition for this region. Why not? It still works.
I hear you. So I guess you work with Saudi. You won a contract with STA. We've done some work with them. We know they've got very sort of ambitious targets. We know they want structured reporting, so that says a lot about the kind of business you are. You work with Langham. But I guess the whole sort of point is working with established brands or growing brands, but you also want to help sort of not grassroots, but the brands that want to sort of stick sort of their toe into the water and be like, ooh, is that market, a market for me? It's changing so rapidly. What if, let's say a hotel in Sicily, like just random example, they think the GCC could be an interesting market for them. They probably haven't got enough money to work with you folks on a retainer. What would be your advice to them to sort of suss out if the market holds potential so that they could become a future client of yours, for example?
Well, obviously, before taking them on, we would have to look at their, like I said, we'd have to do a quick analysis on their concept. We have to see, there are destinations, as you mentioned, like let's say a destination that's completely unheard of, and we would look at it, but then we would obviously charge accordingly. Again, it's not just a cookie cutter approach where we're looking at this market and saying, yes, okay, you have the ability, you don't have the ability to pay, but it's irrelevant because I'm still going to offer you the same service and same level of coverage, but I don't think you're going to get return. So we always aim to offer a return. So we're looking at the amount we charge as a retainer structure based on volume and delivery and what we expect. Average length of stay we take into consideration. We take into consideration low ADR. And this is where it becomes where our real pricing model kicks in. If a hotel has a low ADR, the volume of traffic that I would need to generate in that for that property in order to show a clear return of investment would be a challenge. So looking at a destination that has a low ADR or a property that would carry a low ADR, will be a challenge to show a clear return on investment. But this is why, again, when we say simultaneous category across the 5-star segment, is to protect our own partners. It wouldn't please me. It would be great for us to take on 4-star products, 3-star products. There are multiple products that have come out to us asking us for support. But again, for me to deliver that return, which I am extremely conscious of, I don't want to be in a position that comes back to the point of failure. I don't want to be in a position where hotels are saying, we invested X, but we only got Y, etc.
It doesn't benefit anyone in the chain if you're working with the wrong product, I guess, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay. So, what like, I'm going to round it off soon, but I just want to know, like, what's exciting? What's exciting about the future of TCA? Like, is there any projects in the works? Or it could be anything. It could be like for example, I'll give you I'm reforming my CRM, redoing my CRM. We're going to change the way the CRM interacts with our event system. Nerdy, but I'm really excited about it. Like, what's going on TCA? What have you got in the pipeline?
I think it's a great time for TCA. We're looking at the tech world simultaneously. Okay, so we need to look at how we're going to engage with our customer. We want to do more marketing-based activities. We want to obviously leverage also our relationship in the high net worth segmentation. Okay, and what is the best way to deal with the high net worth customers? Are we working through multiple platforms? Are we looking at one method of communication? Are we looking at multiple methods of communication? And how to engage with them on, again, back to basics, on the experiential level. Really kind of bringing home, how do I relate this experience through remote communication? And I think that's where we're looking. We're looking at multiple different ways for another discussion for another day. But we are definitely looking into how to develop that side of our business. Furthermore, I think from a property standpoint, we're getting some great new products on board. Watch this space over the next month or two. Fantastic new service-driven products, really high-end products that are going to be rolled out into the region. And then simultaneously, really looking destination-focused. I think for us, it just makes sense. Saudi tourism was the catalyst. Geneva tourism, another product that we work with, and we have been for the last 6 years. But destinations will be the future for TCA because it makes sense for us to really kind of drive that narrative and utilizing the resources that we have in-house to really kind of make a cost-effective footprint for that product in the region without actually breaking stride. So that's the future for us. Whether that will come under a separate destination division, currently unsure, because then it would need to encapsulate all 3 of our services.
Yeah, indeed. I can see how they complement each other in that case,
exactly.
especially, yeah.
So basically leveraging our ecosystem that we currently have, and then encapsulating the services into one service offering for a destination that really wants to target this region, which currently is the most dynamic, exciting region in the world. So
yeah, it's quite. And I guess people listening in, if you're not working in the hospitality or the tourism industry and you want to, or you're looking at progressing in the tourism industry, you might want to start your own business, what piece of advice would you leave for people listening in?
The piece of advice, let me think. It would be really trust your intuition. Okay, work hard, trust your intuition, and love what you do. You really have to. Being an entrepreneur, going out and taking these risks on a daily basis, and taking the responsibility for people's livelihoods, is no small feat. There are multiple sleepless nights, so you need to be ready to carry that load. And obviously, it sounds great on paper. Well, not to keep on referencing my father, but my father always said to me from the day I opened this business, he said to me, Ahmed, you have 2 choices. You would either be a business owner or self-employed. He goes, choose today because that will reflect your decisions. I didn't understand the difference, so I obviously probed further, and he's like, being self-employed means that you are, in essence, employed by your business. If you are not there, your business will fail. Okay? Being a business owner means that you hire the right talent to carry your brand forward, whether you're present or not. So, and I think that was an extremely important lesson for me. And that drove, obviously, me hiring the way when I do. I hire on a knee-jerk basis. If I see someone with the right hunger and appetite to do the role, I would take them on. But they just have to fit. Okay, we consider ourselves a family at TCA across all divisions. and we're all here to support each other. And I think that is what I've developed and honed over the years, and that is my claim to fame, to be totally honest. So my advice would be is to build your business as you see it in 10 years.
Yeah.
Don't build it for today. So build it to where you want to be and manage it in the same respect.
Great advice. So, so any organisations in the tourism industry listening in, TCA can support you in the GCC. They're partners with Connections at Connections Luxury Middle East. Very professional. It's been great working with you, and thank you for your time on this podcast.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.